Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie. This is the week 43 weekly wrap up, October the 18th through the 24th. Alrighty, so I am kind of tired. I moved my lights around, so I think it looks brighter. I don't know exactly. I'm hoping that you guys can still hear me, that I don't come off as if I'm like whispering. But this week I did my initial podcast for the Romance Chatters over on my Patreon. Like I said, I've been telling you guys, I've been revamping that page and doing some new things and stuff like that. I put that initial podcast out this week, so make sure that you're checking the description box for all kinds of good information, like the links to my Patreon and my Ko-fi and my PayPal and things like that. But I had to like sort of redo the room without redoing the room, if you know what I mean, because I really need to like redo the room. I need to build my other 3 bookshelves that I have and then reorganize the books, because you guys can't really see it because I put on a good show back here. But it's a mess. It's a mess. It's not pretty. Like me just, yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. You guys think it looks great and it's all like, oh, look at all those books back there. Yeah, it's unorganized and it's a ball of chaos back there. So this weekend has been like super busy. Like super busy. We have a swim meet yesterday. Or we had a swim meet yesterday. We have a swim meet today. He had a birthday party that he was allowed to go to, because I know the little girl and their family friends, and I know they wouldn't like expose themselves and then still invite people over type thing. So yeah, he went and did that. Then today he has another swim meet. He has like the second part to his swim meet, and then they are going to a haunted car ride or something or another. And if you watch my channel for any amount of time, you know that I am not about that life. So they are going, I am not. The boys are going, and I'm gonna sit home and hopefully be able to read. Hopefully I can get this out quite early. I mean, the swim meet is at like 1, which means I really need to like step up my game and like get this together, because at the same time yesterday, our light like string thing that goes with our ceiling fan decided to come all the way out. So the husband has to like turn off all the power in the house so that he can switch up this little switch thing or another. And the light switch that happened to was in our bedroom. Yeah, that was lots of fun. Lots of fun, because last night we just kind of undid the bulbs just enough so that they went out. Yep, that totally happened. So my brain 5:30 this morning was like, yo, you need to get up, you got lots and lots of things to do. Body was like, no. So compromise, finished a book, and it's on this list, so I'm counting it because it's my prerogative. And I was also supposed to be participating in Dewey's 24-hour readathon. Yeah, that was a big old fail, because I got absolutely no reading done yesterday during the swim meet. While we were sitting in the car, I was like uploading dailies over on Instagram, and if you're not following those, that information's down in the description box. I filmed or put together a recommendation reel that I put out, and it was just mostly a reels and post kind of day for me yesterday. So yeah, then we got home, which was super early, except for the fact that the kid wanted Arby's, which means then we had to like drive across town from where we were and things like that. It was all good because that food was real good. It was real yummy. Then what else happened yesterday that prevented me from like actually reading until like later on? Yeah, I just it just didn't happen. Just didn't happen. Now, this week I did do a vlog for week of NetGalley, so you guys will be seeing that in the future. In the next couple weeks, that will be a video that comes out where I tell you guys more in depth about these books that I read, because yes, most of the books on this list that I read last week were from NetGalley, and you'll be able to see the written reviews and you know, experience them as I was reading them this week in a couple weeks, because yeah, there's some doozies here. So in order to keep this short, I'm going to try and keep my reviews of these books very short, down to like 3 points, I guess. Let me know if you like this style of a review for the weekend wrap up, for the weekly wrap up. Not weekend, weekly wrap up. And let's just get into the books that I read last week. So I started the week off reading Office Hours by Katrina Jackson. Placed this in contemporary. Give this book 2 stars. DNF'd it at 43%, but still feel confident in giving it 2 stars. Gave it, for Steam fans, it was actually kind of steamy. Read it as an ebook. This is a Black author. And I know that you guys are going to come for me. Well, some of y'all may come for me. But this book was boring as hell. And it read more like a memoir for this author, writing about her boring academic life and the hardships that she has as a Black academic, how she's overtired, and there was a whole bunch of sexy time in it. Yeah. So our character's name is Deja. She is, like I said, an overworked Black female academic professor, and she complains the whole 43% of the time that I read it about how overworked she is, how she can't have a relationship, but she's lusting after this other professor called, his name is Alejandro. He complains about being overworked, and then the two of them end up hooking up. The session was pretty hot and heavy. They've both been lusting after each other, and on their first date, they end up hooking up. And homegirl falls asleep during foreplay. Seriously. Seriously, not sexy at all whatsoever. I didn't find the romance between Deja and Alejandro. It just was boring to me, and it was a bunch of complaining, and I was not here for it. The next book that I finished was Temporary Wife Temptation, which is book number 1 in the Heirs of Hansel, by Jayci Lee. I placed this one in contemporary. I give it 4.25 stars. I give it 3 Steam fans. I had it as an ARC, but I listened to it as an audiobook, which I loved. This is an Asian author, and this book follows Natalie and Garrett. Natalie is this hardcore HR person that is like, I have been acting vice president, I think it was, and I need to get this new position that's about to become open. However, I have family issues. My sister just passed away, and she wants me to adopt her daughter. And so she is dealing with the whole possibility of adopting her niece, and fighting with sort of the grandparents of the brother-in-law. And then you have Garrett, who is supposed to be the next CEO of the Hansel Corporation, and grandma, Korean old school grandma, is like, you need to get married, and that's how we're gonna roll this. Well, Garrett is like, okay, well, I'm not dealing with this arranged marriage that you have for me going on. I already have a fiance. And then he ends up Natalie ends up missing a meeting, and she's like, I'm gonna ambush Garrett at the club. So she gets all dressed up, goes to the club. Garrett's like, ooh, who is this person? And then come to find out it's Natalie, and this is a marriage of convenience story, and I really enjoyed the start of the story, or a start of the series, and this family. I really like the representation and everything like that. Of course, I'm not Korean, so I can't say how accurate the representation is. The next book that I finished was Secret Crush Seduction, The Heirs of Hansel, book number 2 by Jayci Lee, and place this one in contemporary. Give this one 4 stars. Give it 3. Steam fans had this as an arc and listen to it as an audiobook. Asian author once again. This one follows Adelaide, who is the sister of Garrett, and Michael, who is Garrett's best friend. The two of them have been crushing on each other. It is an age gap romance and secret crush romance, and forbidden sort of, oh, you're part of the family. He has a secret in which he doesn't want to burden Adelaide with. Michael has a secret that he doesn't want to burden Adelaide with. And she is like, but I want you. There's some... She also wants to prove herself to their grandmother. Once again, that hardcore Asian grandmother or Korean grandmother that's like, you got to prove yourself type thing. So there's that aspect as well. And I really enjoyed it. The next book that I finished was Forbidden by Elizabeth Lowell. I'll place this in historical fantasy. Give it 2 stars. It was horrible. Give it 2 Steam fans. Listen to it as an audiobook. There were just too many damn characters in this book. Too much going on. It was crazy. Amber is supposedly this like untouchable female, and Duncan is this guy that they find in the river and bring back, and just too much, too cluttered, so freaking boring, just not my jam. It's set in medieval times, and then there's this whole, is she a virgin, isn't she a virgin, I'm taking her virginity, then I'm going to marry her, and blah, 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 blah. The next book that I finished, I'll be real quick with this one. You're just going to have to watch the vlog when it comes out to see all the feelings, but was Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is a thriller, guys, a thriller. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars, and I'll explain that in a second. I give it 1.5 Steam fans. Listen to it as an audiobook. This is not a romance. Let me say that again. This is not a romance. This is a thriller based around Lowell, Jeremy, and Verity. Lowell is hired by Jeremy to be the ghostwriter for Verity. Verity was in a car accident that has left her in a vegetative coma state in their home, and Jeremy meets Lowell and hires her to come in and finish this like sort of large series of thrillers that Verity was writing before her accident. That's all I'm going to say about that. I have very, very strong feelings, and that rating is, the 3.5 rating was moved up from probably a 2, and that only comes after discussion with Bree, Chloe, and Sarah. That's it. I mean, had I read this on my own, why, I don't know, because Colleen Hoover is on my never gonna read list again. But they convinced me to, pull her off the shelf for this one book. And now I'm most definitely going to leave her ass on the shelf for any other book. I will never try another Colleen Hoover book. Period. Just period. I have so many things. So many things. So many feelings. But they're the reason that I bumped it up, because, after discussion about some of the things that went on during this story, I would have to say that the one thing that really turned me off about the story, had that not happened, it probably would have been a 5-star read for me. So there is that. The next book that I finished was Like Lovers Do, which is Girl Trip #2 by Tracey Livesay. I place this in contemporary. It is an interracial romance. Give this book 5 stars. Give it 4 Steam fans. Listen to it as, or had it as an ARC and listen to it as an audiobook. This follows Nicole, who is this badass, hardcore orthopedic surgeon, super resident, getting ready to go for her fellowship, and her roommate is this trust fund guy that his name is Ben, and he's a financial advisor. Well, Nicole ends up reprimanding this first year snot-nosed freaking resident, and the hospital ends up taking sort of his side on the situation while they're doing the investigation, and tells her to go take a vacation while she waits to get to start her fellowship and everything like that. So she has to deal with the possibility of losing her fellowship because of this little snot-nosed first year resident. And Ben is about ready to go to his family estate in the Hamptons, I think it is, or a friend's estate in the Hamptons. And then he finds out that his ex-fiance is going to be there, sort of invited herself. So he's like, well, you know what, Nicole, you need a vacation, and I kind of need a fake girlfriend, so to ward off homegirl over there. And so they work something out, you know. She goes and she tries to relax, and he is like, and she plays up the girlfriend part to stave off the ex. And the reason I love this book so much is because it's an interracial romance, for one. I was a little afraid in the beginning of the story that I needed to read the first book to gather, you know, what was going on, but you don't. You really don't. These are very separate books. It does make me want to go back and find out about this other friend now that is featured in the first book and that relationship. But this one, you know right off the bat that Ben and Nicole have this like chemistry. They've been living together for 3 years, and they sort of take care of each other, and you get to hear their banter. And when she mistakenly sends him a boob pic, you just know it's gonna pop off, and it totally does. And then when they're in the situation with the friends, with his friends and things like that, you know, I loved that Tracey didn't heavy hand the conversations about interracial relationships or the stereotypes and microaggressions that were thrown out at Nicole while they were on this vacation together. And I was here for it. Here for it. I can't wait for the rest of the series to come out. The next book that I finished was Well Played, which is Well Met #2 by Jen Deluca. Place this in contemporary. I give it 3.25 stars. I gave it 2 Steam fans. Listened to it had it as an ARC. Listened to it as an audiobook. This deals with catfishing and mistaken identity. Well, not really mistaken identity. He knew the whole time that he was catfishing her. Anyways, we have Stacy, or Anastasia, and she has this like ongoing fling with a band member that frequents the Renaissance fairs up and down the circuit. Well, Stacy ends up finding out that Dax has a girl at every Ren fair that he kind of picks out, and so she kind of cuts him off. And then one drunken night, she emails Dax. But lo and behold, it's actually not Dax that she's emailing back and forth with. They start this like email conversation and like sort of relationship, I guess you can say. But it was very meh to me, because I think the fact that our couple from the first book has such a huge part in this book, and their wedding and the setup of their wedding, and the woe is me of I have to stay home and take care of my sick mom that hasn't been sick, and I had to come home, and oh my God, my life was derailed, and I don't know what to do with myself. Ugh. It got to be too much. Just too much. And then the whole catfishing thing, it was like, as the reader, I'm sitting there like, girl, You were so getting catfished. You were so getting. That is so not Dex that's emailing you right now. So, the next book that I read was Not Like the Movies by Kerry Winfrey. This is a rom-com, or at least I'm placing it in rom-com. This is, I give it 4.25 stars. I give it 2.5 Steam fans, had it as an ARC, listened to it as an audiobook, and this has a bunch of LGBT plus representation in it. We have Chloe, who is this quirky like barista, and she works in the coffee shop with Nick. She's also sort of a baker. She likes to make treats and things like that. But her and Nick have had a banter, I guess, and I think, from what I'm gathering, this is their story that was written in Waiting for Tom Hanks. I think it is. I think that's what the first book is called. And you know, I kind of got a feeling that I may have needed to read the first book before reading this one, but it was okay. I still really enjoyed this story about Chloe and Nick, and then they go to a coffee conference, and they're forced to have the one bed sort of trope in the hotel room. So, you know, they re-explore their attraction. I did get a little overwhelmed with the fact that Chloe wanted to do everything on her own, but those issues were addressed throughout the story, because that is a huge tone of the story of Chloe wanting to do everything for everyone and having to take care. So I liked that it was finally addressed within the story. The next book that I finished was On the Corner of Hope and Main by Blessings number 10 by Beverly. Jenkins. Places in contemporary. I am actually putting this back on the want to read list, not a true DNF. I got to the 50% mark, and I'm going to have to put this back on the shelf. I will be giving it 3 stars so that I can write my review for it, because it is a NetGalley review. But this book, I give it 0 Steam fans. Like I said, I had the ARC, and I started listening to it and got to the 50% mark. It gave me such whiplash, and by 50% I couldn't take it anymore. I don't know who I was supposed to focus on with this story, because there were so many other characters and things like that. This is a series that you cannot, let me repeat that, you cannot jump into this series at any book. You must start this series at the beginning with Blessings number 1. I don't even know the name of the book, but I am going to go back and start the series. I don't know when, but that's what's going to happen with this one. So this follows the stories, traumas, craziness, drama-filled stuff that is happening to the citizens of Henry Adams, Kansas. From what I gathered in the 50%, they're electing or trying to elect a new mayor for this town, and there's lots of things going on. So there is that. Then the last book that I finished last week was Love in the Wild by Emma Chase. Place this in contemporary. This is a retelling of Tarzan. Give this book 4.5 stars. Give it 3 Steam fans. I actually had it as an ARC from the author, and read it as an ebook. That, like I said, it's a it's a retelling of the classic Tarzan and Jane, and I loved this take. It is very, very straight on retelling with modern pops and twists and turns, and a sort of magical, mystical feel about it. So you have Thorn, who is the Tarzan sort of character in this story. Him and his family. He is the Lord of Somerset. His dad was the Lord of Somerset. And they get into a plane crash. Thorn ends up being a 3-year-old left in the jungle. Gets taken care of by gorillas. you get to find out that he has this sort of family with the jungle and everything like that. But he also has these visions and these voices that come to him in certain situations, and I was here for it. Then you have Eden, who is an American photo nature journalist that is taking a guided tour in the jungles where Thorn is, and they come across some poachers. The poachers end up executing her group, and when they go to try or about to execute her, Thorn steps in, takes her, and, you know, saves her and everything like that. This is the story of sort of Eden knowing the story about the family that went missing and things like that, and then finding out all of the things that happened to Thorn. And I was just like, oh, I was completely drawn into this. And it reminds me of a video of heroes that are, you know, sort of wild that I watched from Brie Lauren from In Love and Words, and In Love and Words, right? Yeah, I think so. And I was just like, oh, this would be so perfect. I don't remember if this book was on her list or not, but I was like, this book would be perfect on her list, because Thorn is working on a like 3-year-old sort of vocabulary. He does have a bit of a more of a vocabulary, because he does end up meeting some people along the way, but for the most part he has a very limited vocabulary when he meets Eden, and finding, you know, the two of them sort of meshing together and stuff like that. And I just love their chemistry, and I loved it. I really, really loved this book. So what am I currently reading, or will be reading for next week? Currently reading, I will be reading The Roommate by Rosie Danan, which is a leftover from last week that I wanted to read, and All Scots and Bothered by Kerrigan Byrne is another leftover from last week that I want to get to. So those are the 2 books that I will be continuing on with. So those are the books that I read last week. Those are the books that I will be reading. Let me know if you have read any of them and things like that. I totally didn't do a mail portion of this. I'll insert that here. Alrighty, as I said, I did get a few packages from Book People. I got, well, Forever With You by Barb Curtis from Forever Publishing. I also got a physical copy of The Truth About Dukes by Grace Burrows from Forever Publishing, which is part of Grand Central and Forever Publishing. So thank you for that one. I received my Harlequin Desire reader box and the 4 books that I got. I got a copy of the 3rd book in the Heirs of Hansel series, Off Limits Attraction by Jayci Lee. Super excited about that one, because I do have a e-arc of this already, so I'm super psyched that I have a physical copy of it. I also got Tempted by the Boss, Texas Cattlemen's Club by Jules Bennett in that box. I got Hot Holiday Fling by Joss Wood. And the box also included Brenda Jackson, The Wife He Needs, which is a Westmoreland Legacy, the Outlaws series. This has a whole bunch of books in it. I don't know where this one falls, so hopefully I can just pick this up and be able to read it. I then got another box from Harlequin. I don't have anything. Yep. Got another box from Harlequin, so I'm going to open that now. Oh, that's what these are. Yay! Super excited. Actually, no. What is this? So I am going to be working on a project, and I didn't think it was this one. So I will be working on a project. I don't think these are the same books that I'll be working on, but I have wanted to really get into the Harlequin Intrigue line as well. So I got in this box, I got Tactical Crime Division Impact Zone by Julie Ann Lindsay. Super excited to get into this. We have Tactical Crime Division, Rookie Instincts by Carol Erickson. And then I also got Toxin Alert by Tyler Ann Snell. So I believe this is a series called Tactical Crime Division. There is one book missing, and that is Hunting a Killer. It's not published yet, but I'm sure it will be on the way. I am super excited about this because, you know, law enforcement is my jam. And yes, we're going to do this. I really am excited to get through these. These are thrills, seek thrills, solve crimes, justice served. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So that is the book mail that I received. So that was the book mail that I got from the different people. Yep. You guys will know that. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. My Ko-fi, my PayPal, my Amazon wishlist, my Amazon affiliate links, all of that is down in the description box. If you have not looked over at Patreon, please take a look at that. The soft opening is until the end of the year, when I will move this video, the weekend or weekly wrap-up video that comes out on Sundays, over there to be exclusively for them. So if you want to get in on the ground for those videos, for this video every single week over there, please take a look at that Patreon link down in the description box. So thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.